Am I here? Can y'all hear me, family? What it do? Good morning, good morning. Let me see who all done topped in. We got Pop Gaddis coming in from the Shy. Shy in the building. What it do, Pop Gaddis? Blake E. Gaddis. We got that Chapel Hill, North Carolina tapping in. Cassandra Scott, good morning, beloved. And then we got Pastor Nicholas J. Gaddis, who brought them all here. Good morning. Shout out to my Gaddis clan. What's up, the lovely Terry Nixon in the building? Erica Gaddis, how you doing from Los Angeles? Then we got Allie Nicole Gaddis Rivers coming in from Miami, Florida. You heard? Good morning. Then we got the Way of Jesus Christ through Faith Church. Oh, my Gaddis clan. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hold on one second, fam. Yeah. Who shall it be? Brother. How you doing, good brother? How you doing? How you doing, good brother? How you doing? 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 We have check. Hold on, family. Let me get this together. 1 second. Let me get this together. The show. Hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead and get this together. Let me go and get you where you need to be. Let me know when you. Hold on 1 second. Let me just get a few good mornings out. And I'm gonna bring you in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me go and do this thing like this. We got the lovely Carolyn Hendrickson tapped in. Thank you for tapping in, beloved. Wanda Jones Gaddis, Hillsboro, North Carolina, in the building. Lena, how you doing, beloved? Thank you for tapping in. I ain't going. I wouldn't let you go nowhere. You heard? I wouldn't let you go. Thank you and keep supporting for Philly. You heard? And we got the lovely Wanda Smith and tapped in. Miss Tina M. Smith is in the building. Lena, what you say? Do something spectacular, then I might notice you. Do something to make me notice you. I'm trying my best. Constance, thank you for tapping in. Andre Holland in the building. The lovely Deborah O'Neill. That's that D you heard tapping in. Lydia McNeely in the building. Concrete Jungle, thank you for tapping in. Wife Runner, good morning. We got the lovely Beverly Biggs Levy. Then, we got my fellow 7th Wardian. T in the building. And the lovely Tasha Lynn. Good morning, everybody. Let me bring this brother on. I catch flack so much. Let me bring him on. Bring him on. How you doing there? He's dressed in his what would that be? African guard.
African God. That's right.
Rose Gaddis. Good morning. Seattle's in the building. How you doing, Brother Roberts?
Man, I'm excited and established to be on this planet in this time and space. It is amazing. A lot of times we have a tendency to allow someone else to distract us from the work that we need to be doing to honor our ancestors. I definitely want to give you a warm welcome and hello to you, my brother technician, Mr. You are cherished in our community. You are an amazing young man, and I love you like a brother, and I think that means a lot when we engage in our community because we spend so much time hating one another. So I just want to tell you and give you your plants, not a flower. I'm giving you your plants while you can hear me and see me because We don't give flowers, flowers die. So I want to give you a nice, beautiful plant today, Brother Mick, to
No,
say
for
good
sure.
morning, beautiful black man. And
Thank
to
you.
our community, as always, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, no matter where you might hear my voice in the time and space in this amazing thing called the universe. So we just always want to make sure we're extending out a warm welcome to our community. And we want to encourage our community to hug someone, to hug a tree, take your shoes off and hug a tree. And we want you to be kind to one another. That's how we move
Yeah.
because we the first people on the planet. I know a lot of times you guys that are Negroes, it's hard for you to accept that, but everything comes from us. So this morning, I definitely want to make sure that I want to encourage our community to be serious about their health. I'm a
Hmm.
young man. I'm 69 years old. I've been dealing with a brain tumor for 25 years. Also, I'm dealing with prostate cancer. So I would ask our community to make sure that you have loved ones, men in your life, encourage them to get their prostate checked. I'm dealing with my numbers have risen in the last a few months. I had prostate cancer treatment, the HIFU treatment, 2 years ago at Henry Ford Hospital with Dr. Rogers. I went to Mayo Clinic and Emory in Atlanta, Georgia, and the University of Michigan. When 2 years ago, I learned that I had prostate cancer, and 8 out of 10 black men will have it. It's not even prevalent on the continent of Africa. So it is about what we eat, and then the stress of being black in this country that induced this kind of thing to happen in our community, along with our women and breast cancer. We want to make sure that you guys are encouraging one another to please, please, please talk about this. Don't be ashamed. I know a lot of times men don't want to talk about that area of their bodies. A lot of times that's been our only tool or the only power that we've ever had in this country have always been our sexual organs, which this country has always manipulated and abused. And so they still have an Oedipus complex in this country, well, in the world when you're dealing with black and brown people. For some reason, I don't know why that is. But again, I just want to encourage our community to make sure that you're talking to those that you love to get checked, get their breast checked. Please start at 50 years old, black and brown men, to get your colon checked. I have two brothers. One brother, was an ex Vietnam vet.
Hmm.
His was induced by Agent Orange. I have another. My oldest brother is 95 years old. He too, it succumbed to him. He's still alive, but they had to remove his prostate. So again, I just want to start off encouraging our community to think about our health. And another thing this morning, please, please talk to your ear. Do you know how important your ears are? Your ears are incredible when you're thinking about the human body. So take some time out to talk to your ear, to embrace your ears, and to make sure that you are allowing your ears to hear things that are pleasing. Like sometimes just take some time to embrace a machine gun by Jimi Hendrix and Earth, Wind and Fire, Talk and Columba. You know, those are some real, real important songs, even though I'm a Prince head, but I do believe that the music have always been a part of our existence as black and brown people on this planet. When you think about the Western music scale, it only has 12 notes, but the African music scale notes are unlimited. Y'all think about that. The African music scale, almost their notes are intertwined with the universal harmony of the planet and the universe. So it goes to show you how even in the musical scale of this so-called system we live in is perverted. I definitely want to open up to our community and some things about me. I am a returning citizen. Most people don't realize that I did spend 17 and a half years in prison for taking the law into my own hands. Someone robbed me, and I took the law into my own hands. I spent 17 and a half years in prison. I heard that Brother Elliot and Mick was talking about that a little bit yesterday. And I just want to make some things clear about imprisonment. Um, it is a note that you can become institutionalized, but even today, many people are free and are in prison. So hear what I'm saying. Now I was in prison, and while I was there, I was a threat. They had labeled me a threat to the institution. They moved me around on 48 plantations. One reason that I wouldn't buy it, a couple of times my life was at risk, or some people wanted to kill me because of my activist work, dealing with the people that was incarcerated and the law enforcement. Because you got to realize the plantation system is the number one system in this country. Locking up, exploiting black and brown people is the number one business in this country. For some other reason, another community just enjoy, or they have sexual pleasure killing us, and that's in a community's DNA. But for me, a lot of times, just this past weekend, I'm working with a program called 10 Gentlemen's, where we have had a graduation. Two of our young men graduated from our program. And I've been working with different programs to help returning citizens matriculate back into our community. Now, in China, you think about the incarceration in China. China have 1.9 billion people, and they lock up less than 900,000 of their people. And many times when a person get out of prison in China, they have to be connected to a village or a province and have a trade coming home. So you got to realize that the incarceration system in America really started in 1865 after the so-called Emancipation Proclamation. And what happened was, before then, we were considered a commodity or property. So after 1865, we became more commodity, meaning since we were doing all the work before, now that the so-called rights of being a human being, that you can fend for yourself, they created the slave trades like what the ICE is doing today. But they created those programs because you could just be standing on a corner or not having a job, and you could get locked up and sent to a peonage colony or a plantation, meaning those is the same thing of being re-enslaved again. So it was all designed about exploitation. Right now, you got over 4,000 businesses right now in the United States that are benefiting from cheap and free labor, because we have over 8 million black and brown people locked up, meaning in prison, in jails, detention centers, or any of those things that are designed to make sure that, and it's $1 trillion business. Locking up black and brown people is $1 trillion business. And again, if you want me to go a little deeper, I would talk about, even the stock market. You think about the stock market in 1711, but before the stock market, black and brown people cleared the land in New York that the stock market sit on. And the first commodity on the stock market in this country was what, Mickey? Who do you think was the first commodity on the stock market that was sold? When you think about war bonds or securities or risk or debt, what would you, Mickey? What do you think the first item that was on the stock market that was being sold?
I'm pretty sure it was somebody that looked like me or you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, you're right on time. So again, I just wanted to make sure that we are clear. Brother Elliott was doing some amazing information. And one thing that Brother Elliott and I, or any of us, are dealing with, we are part of our ancestry. So there's nothing new under the sun. And why we mention books and making sure that you guys are doing your research, because even when you think about the construct of this hatred, at one time we was the progenitors and we was those people, but we fell off because we wanted to build buildings like the pyramids and those things and entomb uh, hundreds of people, which was against God. Most of those pharaohs and their bad behavior they was doing by taking all that garbage to the afterlife, that was a twist and a disrespect of our relation with the universe. And that's why we continue to be punished, because of our omnipotent thinking that we on the level of God, and I'm going to take these people and these things with me to some kind of afterlife, right? And so that's why when you think about if you go back 10,000 or 20,000 years in ancient Kemet, because everything started in Africa, everything. I know a lot of times it's hard for us to embrace that. And I know some of you Negroes have a problem with that. And I understand that. And hopefully before you die, you may be awakened when you see your that white Jesus that everybody searching for. But for the sake of our conversation, I want to make sure that you guys are being clear about theology. Before the Bible, see, I want us to talk about before the Bible, before the Torah, before the Injil, before any the Quran or mysticism, Buddhism, Confucianism, however you want it is or is it. I want us to go back, because at one time, if we go back before any of these theologies or these man-made traps, because they're trapped. You think about it. If the church and the black community was really doing the work, they would be under attack. That's why they allowed to have 1,000 churches in our community, because they're not doing anything.
I mean, well, we had them conversations. Anyway, that's that, but I'm saying, how can we but you know what, to even go back, because I want to go back. We used to talk about the jails, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it started in 18, right? The prison system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and so what do we think was supposed to change from then to now?
Well, when you are faced with an illusion about being accepted into a community that hates you, so I can say, and you understand, like Elliot was saying with Denmark Vassar and Ned Turner. So when you think about being brainwashed and you have been conditioned to love, or the Stockholm Syndrome, so you've been conditioned to love your master, even despite your own life. So that's what produced the psychosis that we're dealing with today. And that's never been addressed. So again, the exploitation of the black body has been the number one commodity or business since sugar was discovered 10,000 years ago, because the number one dope in the world has been sugar.
Facts.
And so even like now, the world ingests 9 billion tons of sugar a year.
Okay.
Before cotton, rice, or any type of that garbage, the first plantations was based on sugar. At one time, sugar was more valuable than diamonds, gold, and even water, because of the appetite. Again, you got to think it's twofold. See, when it first started out, it started out as a municipal plant. They was engaging in some real positive things. And then once the Europeans learned about the sweetness in it and what it was able to ferment liquor, that's what created the importation and the exploitation of black and brown bodies around the world, because sugar or sugar cane is only grown in a certain location. So when you go to those Caribbean, I know a lot of you guys like to go to the fake Caribbean islands. And many times when you think about those islands, or even Hawaii, most of those islands were destroyed because of their native plants, because those other interesting people came and brought sugar and eradicated the natural plants of those islands and developed sugar canes, which was sugar plantations. And that was the number one, if you want to say what started the importation and the disrespect of black and brown people, was the sugar process. And it has, to this day, it's still a part of the plantation system today. And again, I think that's why Brother Elliot and Mick, and why we try to make sure that we are encouraging you guys to read. And just like he talked about Dr. Ben, Dr. Grayson, and Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Ivan Van Sertima, why are we bringing these things up? Because you have systems that have been placed from ancient time. A lot of times y'all talk about the Sphinx and why the nose is blown off at Neeks over there in Egypt. And a lot of those images over there in Egypt have been destroyed or defaced intentionally. See, all that was intentional. See, when you go back, and that's why if we go back 8,000 years, and when you think about the Kemetic people and how they was moving and grooving, and that's why they don't want to teach real history,
Mhm.
because if I can brainwash you and tell you that some other people are superior to you, and then I have the weaponry to back that up, this is what we're dealing with. See, and you asked the question, why? And I think I want to make sure that we clear about the why. The why did not just fall out the sky. The why was intentionally forced. And when you are dealing with another human being
Mhm.
that is disrespectful to the human body, meaning they are willing to mutilate the body, to they call it scorched earth. So at one time they would come into communities and kill everything, even the plants. So that's almost like a cancer, like
Mhm.
prostate cancer that I'm dealing with.
Mhm.
So that's like a cancer. And so when you think about England or Britain, and you think about a time when that small island were colonized 171 communities around the world.
Mhm.
At one time, Britain colonized and had ownership over 1.9 billion people, and they were less than 20 million people. How could that happen, man? Think
Uh,
about that, man. How could that possibly happen? You got less than
Right.
20 million people
Right.
running the world. Now they when you think about brainwash, they didn't do it. Now, even when you talk about the incursion back in
Mhm.
the 12th century, and we go back then, guys, because most people were engaging, when you think about any kind of warfare, they wasn't engaging in no automatic weaponry. Because if you want to know the real history, let's just pull up and for you so you guys can learn. So in I think it was 18, I gotta put my glasses on. I think it was in
You got your notes today, don't you?
yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
think it
okay,
was
okay, okay,
in
okay.
1861, Richard Gatlin
Mhm.
invented the Gatling gun. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Richard
In
Gatlin,
1861, right?
1861,
Right,
right?
okay.
So I'm just talking about how the game changed.
Facts.
Because before then, if you go back thousands of years, our ancient ancestors had the understanding or theorized, understood the principles of nuclear fusion.
Right.
But they chose not to create a bomb. What they created was art, language, music, science. You think about it, surgery, eye surgery, heart surgery. So they was engaging in the universal order of things as opposed to doing creating things to kill other human beings. See, at one time, our people engaged in loving life. I want y'all to community to hear that. Loving life, even if you are from another country. We didn't view other people as the enemy or to exploit them. Most black people or black empires was like, hey, what's up?
Right.
What's happening? We coming to chill, then we going back home. Because we good with where we live, right? Well, we just exploring because we got it like that.
I mean, well, you can point it out when the BS came in, but like but it was during this time, like when people say, yeah, it was slavery, but it wasn't as brutal as it was in this time. What happened over here in this country? Let's
Never.
get that clear.
Clear, very
People
clear.
they had slaves, but it was never like this thing that was put down when they started coming through. It was never like this,
Never, never, never,
So
never.
I just want to put
No.
that out there.
And again, when you think about a people and even the construct of that kind of process, most of the time back in ancient time, it was based on your community, meaning a empire or a kingdom stretching out. And so it will capture other people, and those people will be integrated into their community. And just like with Moses, Moses was not up in the house, but once he was in the house, he came through and rose through the ranks. And back in the day, what you just said, Mick, is valid. Most people, most communities, when a kingdom overtook another kingdom, those people was integrated and could go to school, could do whatever. They had all the rights of that kingdom. But when
Yeah.
you think about what happened with some other people
Yeah.
that wanted to bring in the evil element, meaning basically exploitation
Right.
and the level of killing and destroying their history. See, that's another twist.
Fact.
When you really want to destroy another person's history and existence.
Right.
See, that never happened before.
Right.
Most often, history was shared, history was engaged,
Right.
history was loved, history was internalized, and then it was just like gumbo. So you brought a little bit of your history, we sharing our history, and let's make more history. That's what they were engaged in, not the eraser of history. See, that's a jealous people.
Yeah. Because as you're seeing right now with this president, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say he probably the first one, because this thought ain't just come out of his mind. Cause I'm gonna put a video up,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna let you listen to it and see. Cause I don't know if I sent this one to you,
Okay.
but it just let you see what the mind state on what we going through. And I don't think people like they thinking like that mind state is not here now. They thinking that you know, because it happened in if you was watching me and Brother Elliot, we was playing some of it yesterday. They don't think that mind state still exists to this day.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
think that they got grandkids. They don't think they you know, their bloodline is it just went away.
Yeah, and when you before you play it, you
Uh-huh.
got to think about it like this.
Mhm.
They cry about Project 25, right?
Right.
Project 25 is the Constitution of this country. Project 25 go back to the Magna Carta. So let's be clear about
Mhm.
what the Project 25 is. And when you talk about what you just said and what you're getting ready to play, the game is not new.
And explain what the Magna Carta is. Like, you know, people be acting like they, I mean, I ain't gonna say people, sometimes you can forget because they don't hear this all the time.
Right. Well, Magna Carta was just like a codification of laws, policies, and procedures that started over in ancient England, right? And so at the time, back in the early 17th century, they were engaging in how to create a feudal society that's going to have some order.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the Magna Carta is. It really stresses, you know, when you think about taxation, representation, that's the foundation of you're not supposed to be taxed or engaged in any kind of these kind of legalities without being properly represented, right?
Gotcha.
And so again, and what it did is it wanted to get away from the dogma of the church. See what happened, you think about it, religion screwed everything up. I know, forgive me from some of you religious scholars, but some religion is BS. And I mean it like this, and not disrespecting Christians or Muslims or anything like that. What I'm saying is, if anybody want to respect the Bible, the story of Jesus is where we should really focus on, because Jesus was a Black Panther. Jesus was a revolutionist. Jesus was a liberator. He bust up in there, was busting the priests and all them up, because all them people was up there corrupt. Them Jewish people was out of their mind, man. The priest was out of their mind. And you think about it, ain't nothing new today, the same thing today. The priest, is not natural for somebody not to experience sex. You're a human being. You're supposed to engage in sexual activity. You're supposed to be modified and controlled, but you're not no close to God because you ain't born nobody, or you saying you celibate. That's insane. And that's how you create perversion. So back to the Magna Carta, which the Constitution is loosely based on it. But again, you can't have the Magna Carta or the U.S. Constitution without severe and institutionalized white supremacy. Let's be honest, because they didn't take the tenets from the ancient ancestors, the Kush people, the Kemetic people. When you think about Akhenaten, when you think of Hetzel, when you go back in ancient time, they didn't take those principles, because again, those principles lined up with saying you are not supposed to kill another human being.
They talk about the what is it, the 147 laws of Ma'at? Is it
Ma'at?
That's
right.
what it is. Like,
yes, sir.
But see, when you look, and let's even go, because I'm glad you said that, we go into the Bible, right?
Right.
With the 10 Commandments. But if you seeing there's two different, they're being presented to two different people.
Exactly.
Because just think about the 147 laws, when it's telling you I have not, and one saying I will not. One people know what to do, and another one you telling this is what they shouldn't do.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, as Moses was trying to, what was Hebrews, he was trying to bring them up out of good morning to everybody that tapped in. If I didn't say y'all name, I put y'all faces. I mean, put your comments up here. Thank you, everybody, for tapping in this beautiful morning.
And like you said, Moses was bringing them people out of exploitation. The same thing is happening today. So again, when you go see, when they got away from the universal order,
Mm-hmm.
and it was based on greed.
Mm-hmm.
See, all this is greed.
Facts.
And before we lost our position, we lost our position as black people. Now let's be clear about that. That's like Michael Jordan, even though he insane, but just like Michael Jordan, and I will be talking about how ignorant we are celebrating and supporting any kind of sporting action, But but before I go in there, I know it might turn some of your friends off or some of your listeners off because they want to be institutionalized, because they want to have that noose around their minds. But let's be clear. When you talked about the principles and those 100 principles, I can knock in what they did. And even if you go back to Joseph and Abraham, they codified an understanding about how human beings are supposed to relate to one another. And it was not based on greed, exploitation, because once they brought in, you got to pay the Pope. That was the game.
Yeah.
See, once you got to pay or put a cut on God, I got to pay you for you to talk to God for me. See, that was the trick, Mick.
I know, facts.
Mickey.
Facts.
3-car Molly.
Yeah, no, facts. That's what I say all the time. You hear me, what I be saying is like, when you see the game played, that's why I don't be want to knock nobody neither. Because who am I to try to say? But when I do be saying these people don't believe in God, I really be meaning that. And I'm talking about the pastors. I'm not talking about his followers, because people actually want to know God. But I just feel like the pastor, how they use the flock, because going back to the Bible, what you just say, Jesus was a revolutionary. Didn't he come up in the church?
Yes, sir.
When he calling them out. And going back to Moses, like you said, was exploitation.
Yes, sir.
Then Moses had to show his people the Hebrew.
Yes, sir.
With the Israelites.
Yeah.
Then he had to tell them, like, y'all not even believing. This is not even y'all God y'all praying
Come
to.
on now.
They wasn't even in their names.
No, sir.
Like, he had to come back to the stuff that, what they was doing, what might have been accepted with Pharaoh, them people.
Right.
That wasn't going along with, like, Moses, them people.
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. When Moses had to come back and enlighten the Israelites, like, listen, you know what I'm saying? He killed one of his own for them. And
yes,
they told him, like, that's what they called that on Moses.
Come on now, told.
You know what I'm saying? Because they was being mistreated.
Do
that sound like some of your own people? You'll go help your own people and they'll tell on you?
Hey, listen, I was incarcerated. And again, one of the things I go back to is because I wouldn't conform. A lot of times they wanted me to engage in certain behavior.
Right.
Not doing it. One of the big things where my life got threatened because a lot of young kids was coming in and we wanted to stop them being molested by these lifers. There's a difference when a person's doing life in prison.
Right.
And even the time that I went in prison, they just now started having women coming in there.
Right.
So even now, different plantations I was on, I had to protect some of our sisters from the administration, right?
Right.
I mean, these guys wanted to make the sisters,
I get what you ain't
do some ugly stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the sisters holler at us, so we got to holler at the officers, right?
Right.
And that's real talk, right? And so that's why I was considered a threat to, because I was willing to die. And so because I got a karate background, then it made the situation differently how they came at me. And one thing that we must realize, even me going to prison, my own people told on me. So again, when you think about the avenue, even though this guy robbed me, that should have been on mano, right? Shouldn't have went into the police situation, because I don't believe calling the police. Why would you call 911 when calling people come out to kill you? When the police in America was designed to destroy black and brown people, make sure that you in your place, in your spot, like they killed that boy Lacey. Cameron Lacey, right?
Yeah, I was finna get you. Okay.
But the point I want to make, let's be clear.
Right.
Because a lot of times people don't want to talk honestly about religion. If religion and what the Israelis are doing, and throughout the whole annals of time, if religion was based on thou shalt not kill, or even Islam, submit to one, meaning you are another human being, even though we may not agree, I have no right to kill you.
Fact.
I have no right to put you to death.
Fact.
All that jealousy and envy, all that is man-made, even when you think about our community, is unacceptable for the conditions of Flint, as small as Flint is. And as long as black people have been here, it is unacceptable that these churches are closed. Not one church is open after school at 5 o'clock. Not one, Mickey. When I was growing up, they used to be.
Mhm.
Our children, I'm over at Southwestern.
Mhm.
I have a program, Rites of Passage program. So people talking about what I'm not doing in the community. We over there in the community, working with these young people that can't read. That's intentional. You don't never hear that on the news. You don't hear. Last week I was working with a young lady, a homeless young lady, right? 24 years old, a Mott student, right? That don't get no the lights and don't get channel 12, right? The work we doing in the community, even at Black Lives Matter grassroots. How do you have a program, NAACP or anything, when you got over 50 white supremacist groups in America get all kind of funding? How many black groups or community get any kind of funding? When you think about real money that make a change in the community, Mick. Because again, you got to see what the power base is. And the power base is based on the illusion of inclusion, meaning if you don't aspire to my Jesus or to my God or to my Allah, I got a right to kill you. What do you think about the Christian Crusades was about? All those crusades back in the day was based on people killing one another in the name of God. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable in our community. And so we can be clear, Hamrin, Hiram, Hamrin, Maxim, invented in 1884, he created the automatic machine gun. Now that changed the game when we talk about how and why people were exploited and how you had military forces that was able to, as King Leopold did, and as you guys heard of Cecil Rhodes, where the Rhodes Scholar is based on, he was a devil along with King Leopold. So you got in 3 hours when they invented this machine gun, fighting the Mau Maus in 3 hours, over 30,000 Mau Maus with spears and arrows were murdered in 3 hours by the machine gun. That tipped the scale when you talk about how these Europeans was able to destroy and colonize and enslave the continent of Africa, because it was pure bloodshed, castration, and total annihilation of communities. I want to make sure that we understand those facts. Those are facts. Those are not illusions. Those are not made up. Like many times in our community, you have people running this country right now that are not qualified. You got people that are in the administration, just like in Flint, Michigan, that are not qualified to be in those positions. Go ahead and play that piece you was gonna play. I'm sorry.
Get it off.
Yeah, I got it off.
Hey, you had students up at, I see B. Marie said, well, Brother Robert, students speak at the ribbon cutting, had FCS students speaking at the ribbon cutting.
Yeah, we had some of our students at the ribbon cutting. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So how was that?
That was I was tricked into going there. They told it's not funny, but they told me one thing, and and then me, I'm really a supporter of repairing the brokenness in our community, and I believe that you have to have a conversation with everyone. I don't believe in these camps, and let's be honest, Black and brown people don't have no money and no real institutions in this country intentionally. So we don't want to have that conversation. It's just like Elliot said yesterday.
Yeah.
Just look at the businesses in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Just go from Saginaw Street on Pearson Road, from Saginaw Street all the way down to the expressway. Not one Black-owned business. And they make over multi-million dollars a year. Those liquor stores, Landmark is a garbage camp. Mr. B, I was down there Sunday protesting in front of Mr. B's. And again, I'm on the sidewalk. The police come down. Ain't nobody down there protesting with me, because that's how I roll, by myself. They're going to try to make, but anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
Because again, my point is this. We keep talking. I don't believe in meeting and having a meeting, and we have meetings, and we meet it out. What we need to do is do something. Everybody else in this community called America, they do something. They make something happen in their community. Why are we not boycotting every store on Pearson Road? Why do we have to put our money into stores that these people from different Islamic backgrounds hate us, literally hate us, and they live in mansions? Even though I can speak a little Arabic, and I understand, I learned Arabic while I was in prison. I understand when we come to the store, I hear what they say, and I check them on it. And they be like, brother, you know some Arabic? I ain't even go there. Yeah, but my point is, we continue to allow ourselves to be exploited intentionally because we hate ourselves. We've been taught to hate ourselves, and we enjoy it. Because again, when you learn about who you are and that you are made in the image of God, you have a responsibility and accountability to love yourself and to love your neighbor and to make sure that your community is healed and that you have total ownership in your community. Total ownership means
just hold on one second. Let me play this. Hold on one thought. I got you. Let me play this. Let me mute this. Let me play this 1 sec for you.
Because when a slave came from Africa, he couldn't speak the language. He was totally untrained to do any job at all that would fit in with the civilization. Someone had to take care of him. Someone had to take care of him 24 hours a day. And it's pretty hard to do that unless you owned a person. So I think slavery just had to be in those early days.
Mr. Hasty, what was life like in those early days?
As far as the colored people were concerned, I feel that they were a good bit happier than they are now. They had less in the way of material things. But I can remember back in the 20s when I was a small boy, they were always singing at their work. They had a great sense of humor. And now today, they just don't seem to care much about that as they used to. And I think they've lost their sense of humor somewhat, which I deplore.
What do you think are the differences between the races?
I think there's a refusal to accept responsibility. I think there's a lack of motivation. I've tried here to promote people to foremen, superintendents, but they just refuse to do it. They just don't want the responsibility. They don't worry like the white man. If they have troubles, they go to sleep and wake up the next morning, and that trouble is over.
Is it possible that white people have something to do with the lack of ability for blacks to assimilate into this culture?
Absolutely. The white man has certainly been prejudiced and to quite an extent unfair. But customs die awful hard. It takes a long time, and everyone knew years ago that the Negro would have to be given equality. But in the South, knowing Negroes as we think we do, we realized it would take time.
History has never just been about what happened. It's about what's been told, and more importantly, what's been left out. For centuries, Black history has been clipped down to pain, chained to struggle, and packaged neatly between slavery and civil rights. But that's not our beginning, and it's certainly not our whole story. Most of us were taught a version of Black history that was incomplete at best. We didn't learn about Queen Zinga, Mansa Musa, or thriving communities like Black Wall Street. We missed out on the brilliance, the innovation, and the power that shaped the world. That's why Black History Unlocked created the history books forgot to say we were more than enslaved, a digital ebook that reclaims the truth and tells the stories you probably didn't learn in school. Click the link in our bio to get your copy.
You back on here now.
Well, that was interesting little soliloquy. I will say this, that he did say something that was very true, is that those other people in their DNA, because they come from us, they are extremely jealous of us, like sometimes children can be of their parents. because sometimes parents have a tendency to be very selfish and think for themselves and abandon our children. And I think a lot of that is going on worldwide. Now, when you think about the construct, because whiteness is a made up construct. Before the 12th or the 11th century, most individuals in the world engaged in one another based on their geographical location.
Mhm.
Meaning, if you were from Australia or you were from Hungary, it wasn't about color, it had nothing to do with color. It was about a Hungarian. You follow what I'm saying? Even if
Mhm.
you was from Cambodia, even if you was Nigeria and all those kind of places. But before, the Berlin Conference, which those, and let's be clear, the Berlin Conference in 1884, the United States, the Ottoman Empire, and 12 other European countries divided up the continent of Africa. And they couldn't have done that without the power of automatic weaponry. Now, before that invasion, black kings and people on the continent of Africa got tricked because they had engaged for thousands of years in different kind of warfares and capturing other people, and they had a form of slavery, but it was not the genocidal and the castration and the sexualized type of enslavement that Europeans brought to the continent. And so let's be clear about that. And going back to what this European just discussed, it's disgusting, but that's like Elliot said yesterday about Birth of the Nation. So when you got the power to control a narrative and a people that's are not or are ignorant or are living in fear, then they're going to believe what you tell them because they have no power to know anything else. Now, before anything that European just mentioned about us being uncouth and needing white people to civilize us, that's the biggest lie on the planet.
Right, but that's from him. Like I was looking at what Mark Hutchinson said. He said that man is being honest. He ain't lying. This is what Ernest feels. You can't blame a snake for biting you, and you can't blame an ignorant fool for being ignorant.
Yes, sir.
Right, because what you're saying is truth. He had that. See, and that's my thing. They act like, and then I like at the end when because how they not telling the story. They want people to believe the people that they took and brought over here were fools, were ignorant, were like people. Oh, we was living in the jungle. Let me tell people this again. Let me say this for ain't nobody who not paying attention. Don't believe that we was in no jungles being naked. People who done created civilization. Are we that shallow minded to think, oh, we was living butt naked? No, we were not. You think they built? Where you think they got the clothing from?
Thank you.
So if all this stuff had been did, they didn't know how to hide your shame. You even get that in the Bible.
Thank you.
Why you think you put clothes on? To hide your private parts. So, but once again, who was doing their clothes anyway? Who was your seamstress?
Come on now.
So
Come on,
like
black and brown people. Let's be real.
Let's throw all that out. When they set up here like they brought food and that, but that's what he was taught about.
That's what he was taught.
He was taught that to think that we were savages.
Also, and even with that, you got to understand the eugenics process. And
Yeah.
even when you think about all that before then, you got to be clear that all this is intentional.
Fact.
And the bottom line is we created almost everything that's known today. Black and brown people did. We created civilization. The Moors brought the Europeans in Spain out of darkness. Now, that's real. That's not made up.
No.
So again, we were engaged in everything that you can imagine 50,000 years ago. And so that's another jealous aspect. Like I'm saying, when you think about the level of thievery that have taken place,
Facts.
when museums around the world have more of their museum pieces were stolen from black and brown countries.
Diabolical language.
In their catalogs in the basement, even in the Vatican, over there in England and France and Spain.
Facts.
All they need to do is give all of that they have stolen back to those African countries because it's stolen and it's not theirs. And back to what built this country, black and brown people built this country. When you think about Harvard, Princeton, Brown, if you think about Lehman Brothers, if you think about any insurance company, the first insurance took place insuring black and brown people. Over 100 million black people were killed and destroyed coming over to America. And those people were the best of the best, because even to make it to a 2-month voyage on a ship, and many times they would throw cargo overboard because they didn't have enough food, and they would throw our brothers and sisters and our babies overboard. Some of our own brothers and sisters jumped overboard intentionally because they weren't going for it, right? And that's the kind of people we are, but we don't want to talk about that. We don't only want to teach it in our own family. We so scared to teach the truth because that's what screwed us up.
You know,
back in the early, let me just say this, back in 1920, they talk about the Harlem Renaissance, all that BS. It was talented and Langston Hughes and all them jazz guys. Yeah, they had a point. But the sad part about it, they did not want, in our community, did not want to tell the truth to the next generation what they experienced dealing with these devils. Because had we kept that in our young people, we wouldn't be in the condition we are today, because they would be willing to fight for humanity and not allow themselves to be subjugated to go into these penal system to ingest drugs. Even though drugs were put in our community, we would love ourselves more not to touch no drugs. Even when it was put in our community, we would know not to touch it, because we are a reflection of God, and God don't engage in that kind of behavior. Because all of those different kind of drugs, morphine and cocaine, had a municipal purpose. It was the raping and the abuse of those drugs that poison our community. Go ahead, my brother. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, I was going to say that. I mean, like, even with them bringing drugs here, you know what I'm saying? Drugs was put in the community.
And drugs been around for thousands of years, right? And we didn't engage in it. But again, you say intentional, and back to what the brother was saying about ignorance. Now, there's a thing for being ignorant and then being brought out of ignorance. See, all of us can be retrained, be reprogrammed, because most of us, all of us in America have been traumatized. Black and brown people in America need therapy. Seriously. Serious therapy. And because of evil and because of the construct of whiteness, which is a lie based on savagery. So I've got whiteness construct, but I'm able to make sure I can take your home, take your community, take your job. So that means you're going to bend over backwards whenever you're going to do like Terry Crews do every day. Because Terry Crews is the typical Negro that come out of Flint that don't come back, but then he go to Hollywood and he allow other Europeans to grab his phallus and just laugh about it.
But you know what that is, though?
Yeah, the boule.
Yeah, no, but see, he didn't want to miss his job. He don't want to come back to Flint. He left for a reason.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if he go back, what he gonna do?
Well, Troy Aikman. Aikman, I'm going to make a good point here. Troy Aikman, once he got his second contract, he went back to his hometown and built, just an amazing everything in his community, because he cared about his community. And again, we've been taught, we enjoy hating one another. We've been taught to hate one another. Just like Harriet Tubman. She was clear. Just like Elliot talked about yesterday. Harriet was clear. Fannie Lou Hamer was clear. Ella Baker was clear. Miss Jackson, before Rosa Parks, it was Miss Jackson and the Women's Council. She said, no, I'm not getting up. But they couldn't use her because she was pregnant she was a domestic worker for a rich white man in that community in Birmingham, Alabama, and she was pregnant by the one of the white pillars of the community. But they couldn't use her because she said, I ain't getting up. You know, she had tripped out because she been boning the white master, right? So she thinking she next to whiteness, right? And they was telling her, you guys sit in the back. See, and why I'm bringing that up is most of us don't respect and don't realize the power of our black women. If it wasn't for our black women, black men, and this world would be gone, to be honest with you, because we just don't get it. Most of men don't get it. We think about three things: sex, sometime working, and food. Black women are thinking about everything 24/7. They thinking about everything, all the contingencies. They thinking about things that you can't even imagine, right? And so that's why when we back, and that's why ancient Kemet is so important, because back in the time, man and woman and man were interchangeable. They were together, side by side. They was ruling side by side. See, we got away from, we bought into this Eurocentric that, I'm up here and the woman is back there. See, that's not natural. What we're engaging in our country today is unnatural. This country was birthed unnaturally. This country is going to die a serious death, because the way it began is the way it's going to die. Most great empires imploded from within. They were not conquered like Rome, like Egypt and Greece. Not conquered, y'all. They imploded within themselves because they became so omnipotent and so nasty and so vulgar. Just like now, you got R. Kelly, P. Diddy. You got, anytime black people or black men and women get any kind of success, they got to make sure that they are either get hit with the RICO law or the Mann Act. I mean, those laws or constitution were not designed for black and brown people. There's no law, policy, or procedure in America that was designed to protect black and brown people. But we keep thinking that we are being protected by a community and by laws, policies, and procedures, just like what Neely and them let happen to those old folks. The car still rolling, and those police officers snatching them out of the car, and nobody do nothing. People talk about, why isn't the NAACP, why aren't people doing things in the black community? Why aren't you? Since you talk about why people are not doing, a lot of people are doing a lot of things, but people are scared to death to do anything, because I put myself on the line.
Well, hold up. You got to look at it like this, though. When they're saying with the NAACP, because when they started for being in the streets, when these organizations started from being in the streets, they was out to help people. That's why people go to these organizations.
Well, facts. That's facts. But think about it, Mick. If people are not coming to an organization to strengthen it.
But you know why, though? A lot of time we have to be honest with ourselves. A lot of times these people not coming to these organizations is because you got to look at who running them. Sometimes you got to look at the people who running them. I agree with you. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
A lot of these people who put themselves in these positions that say activists, man, listen, Flint is a sad case up here.
Very sad.
Because it's more agendas than it is really helping the people. You know, people want to enrich themselves. So you can't politic on what fight I'm gonna pick. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go at the system. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? To me, I like I say, to me, it's just rough on what it is.
Well, the system was designed to do what it's doing, number one. So let's be clear, even Tupac, even Biggie, even when you go back to Denmark Vassar, even when you go back to Nat Turner, even when you go back to Marcus Garvey, Jack Jones, when you go and Mike Tyson, when you look at the history of this country and you understand the system, as you said, Mickey, and why when people at any time engaged in revolution, like the Panther, Huey, Mark Clark, our communities are infiltrated. People look like me and you will tell someone else what we're doing or what we're plotting. Again, brainwashing, right? Before, that didn't happen before, when we was in our own environment on our own continent. When we came over here, and you got to realize at one time, we was more together when we was picking cotton than we are today. But going back, let's be clear. I'm part of Black Lives Matter grassroots. I'm not part of Black Lives Matter national, because there's a difference. Because Black Lives Matter, again, got usurped and stole over $100 million, meaning money was coming in after George Floyd to make sure that we want to engage in healing the community, because we believe Black Lives Matter. But then there's Blue Lives Matter. All lives matter. See how they conflated? And so that takes the point away from Black Lives Matter, and then you don't have no church or ministers getting behind Black Lives Matter grassroots, because again, who pay your salary? Who are you connected to? So you saying DEI or affirmative action, or you trying to do anything in the community or have any resources, or being a dentist. I knew a Black guy that was a dentist in Florida. He had 3 dentistry. He wanted to open up a 3rd. They would not allow him to open up a 3rd dentistry because they didn't want him to become more affluent, meaning have more power. White people are not going to give you power. You got to take it. Power is not given. You have to take power. And we have power in this country and we don't realize it. If we shut down today, stop playing football while they cutting off our balls, stop playing basketball, stop going to Chris Brown concerts. There's 19 cannabis businesses in Genesee County. We don't receive no revenue from that. So why are you going to the liquor store? Why are you playing the lottery? At one time, I heard y'all talk about it. At one time, the policy and the lottery was ran and created by Black and brown people.
It's no different than how they just legalized weed, bro. There's
no difference.
How the government legalized alcohol. You know what I'm saying? They're going to do what they're going
to do. Get the money.
Yeah,
it's about the money, and we get caught up because we are under an illusion as opposed to own. Why we can't own our own skating rink? Why we can't own our own fencing? Why we don't have no swimming pool? How many, you know how to swim, Mickey?
Yeah, I would.
How many people in Flint know how to swim? It's unacceptable.
Yeah, no, my old man took.
Do you know how important swimming is? Man, swimming is important because it helps the mind develop.
You know, you do things like that. You see in affluent neighborhoods. They go
mandatory.
Yeah, they have stuff for
swimming mandatory. Yeah, go down to Bloomfield Hill.
Yeah, no, they have stuff for our kids. I remember it was in the Flint school system.
It used to be.
They used to take everybody to the Y.
Yes,
like
sir.
I said, but my family, they always did stuff like that.
Yes,
so
sir.
We knew how to. Like I said, my old man took us swimming. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say I didn't get experience. I mean, you experienced more things back then. We had more community than we got right now.
And I think when you mentioned about systems, so when you understand systems, and some systems are to be broken and destroyed when the system is not benefiting the community. And again, our problem is we have been taught to hate each other, even our children. I mean, you think about it. So you got 3 generations of children when they introduced and brought dope into our community. That destroyed our community intentionally. Yeah. But we didn't have to pick the dope up or sell the dope, but because we didn't love ourselves, because the churches and these so-called preachers and the system that was supposed to have been in place, even after emancipation or even after 65 and 64 voting right and all that, we wanted to, Dr. King tricked us. You don't want to hold hands with somebody that's going to kill you at the drop of the hat. Why would you hold hands and want to sit next to somebody when most of the people that invented stuff didn't sit in the classroom? Did not sit. Albert Einstein was insane. But again, when we think about it, you couldn't have a light right now without Lewis Lattimore. The electric light could not be invented without Lewis Lattimore, the filament. We don't want to teach that. Blood plasma. Dr. Charles Drew. But when we think about systems, and we have systems in place that has been designed to make sure other people are denied opportunity, it's our fault. In Flint, Michigan, it's our fault that we're in the condition that we're in. We cannot blame it on nobody else.
Oh, fact.
We cannot blame being exploited. We can't blame what they're doing with Burston. How you going to reinvent Burston and don't have no swimming pool? We don't have no skating rink. No athletes or anybody of substance that came back to Flint and redeveloped the north side, where the north side could be the new Black Wall Street. No, they're not going to do that. But downtown Flint, they got over $3 billion.
I mean,
$3 billion, not million, billion.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's how we get caught up, because they trick us and have us fighting amongst each other. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the goal.
Yeah, because you got to look at it, because you're going to have something that's going to be paid off. I'm not saying no other communities. They got their stuff together. We talking about the black community. All the other communities got theirs together. We the only ones don't, even Arabs, Asians, Latino, they got centers where they go back and teach their history. Only history
It's mandatory.
They
It's
still
mandatory.
go back and do that. We don't have that here in affluent neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? We accept everybody in our neighborhood, but everybody don't accept us in their neighborhood.
Facts.
And that's my only thing. And I don't want people to get caught up on that, because we having a conversation. We're not saying all 99% they all white people is bad. I tell you, some Africans they bring over here be prejudiced against the black Americans. So let's be honest.
Facts.
So don't get it twisted. That's why you got somebody like you hear Tariq Nasheed talking about Foundation Black Americans.
Yes,
because
facts.
he see how we get treated.
Right.
When we go to these other ones who look like us. Let's be honest. You know, the Sudanese, the Somalians, all of them. We the last on the totem pole.
And you making a good point. And even with that, again, it is the bottom line about cultural conditioning, even on the continent and around the world. Bigotry, prejudice has been exported. Bigotry, prejudice has been exported.
Right.
So again, when you think about a community, it's our responsibility, just like Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there were thousands of Wall Streets around after 1865 because of segregation. So if you think about Jim Crow and segregation, guys, I'm from Chicago. I'm from a community that was insulated. I'm from the Robert Taylor Homes, Chicago, Illinois. I used to swim in Lake Michigan and used to get my butt beat because it was insane to be swimming in Lake Michigan. We as kids, we didn't know no better. But my point I'm making is we in a 16-story apartment project. My mother and them wasn't no joke. My mother and them was pit bulls, man. They had box garden. We used to sweep the dirt. How you gonna sweep the dirt? I had to go through the Blackstone Rangers and the Gangster Disciples and the Black Panthers. My brother was a Black Panther. The point I'm only making, guys, and one reason we moved over here was when Mark Clark and them was killed. But the point I'm making is I can move over here to St. John. St. John was an amazing village. Black ownership and Black excellence. That was a time, again, when you just think about how we were moving then, and then this whole called thing about integration tricked us because we did not integrate their communities. You got Chaldeans and all these people been here less than 125 years, own everything in our community. We've been here 500 years and don't own nothing. We don't own one liquor store in Flint, Michigan. We don't own one gas station in Flint, Michigan. We don't own a cannabis shop in Flint, Michigan. We don't own a roller skate rink, a swimming pool. We don't own a grocery store. That's our fault. We spend all our money with people that do not look like you and I, and we enjoy it. And then we jealous of one another because even when this little trickle crumbs come in with the water crisis, how many Black people that's going to get any money are planning on long legacy, making sure that money is going to be passed down for generations? How many of you know that's going to go out and go buy a car or buy a house that they can't pay for and they're going to lose? Because even when you buy a house, if you don't know and buy it cash and don't realize if you don't pay your taxes, they're going to come get it in 2 years. You buy a house and you buy a house that's worth $300,000. You get a 30-year mortgage on it. That house going to be worth, you're going to be paid almost $1 million into a house when you die and you still don't own it. You a fool to buy a house without paying for it.
Well, you have to understand that's why we need to be re-educated. That's why the Carter G. Woodson and the miseducation of the Negro, when you talking about Dr. Ben, because we have to be re-educated, and that was the responsibility of the church. When you talk about re-education, one of the responsibilities of the church, when you think about the healing of a community, that's what the church is. The church is a hospital. So being a hospital, you working with the community to heal every part of that community. And when you've been traumatized for 400 years, part of the reclaiming and the rebirth of a community is through understanding your relationship with your creator
Because once you understand that when you look in the mirror that you love yourself and you love your brother, now, even though we may disagree on certain things of how to get there, but I love you enough where we gonna partnership. You are a blacksmith, or you do this, I do this, then we're gonna exchange goods, we're gonna barter. And the same thing about being in the system. So you can't hate the game. A lot of times we want to hate the game, but we don't want to learn how to play the game. So we want to get mad because the game is institutionalized or destroying us, but we don't want to participate in the game because the game can be changed to meet our needs if we're willing to not sell each other out. How do you have a community that's being intentionally poisoned by the water, and you have people like Ben Carson and Clarence Thomas? Clarence Thomas had been on the Supreme Court. He replaced Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall has did the boots on the ground and popped his fans in the grave because Clarence Thomas has been a cancer to the Black community. At no time have he supported any Black initiative for the repairment or the healing of Black and brown people in this evil society. No time. So when you have people, Thomas Sowell, like Brother Elliott talked about, and the like, when you have those people like Rex Ryan, that's going to demonize Shador Sanders, because that's a perfect example. I don't watch sports, guys. I engage and I listen to a few things because you have to know what the enemy is doing. That's why I know there's over 50 white supremacist groups that are able to move and groove the way and get money. They get money to engage in their hatred. They get money and they get weapons. Most white people most white people in America have no contact with Black people. We don't want to have that concert. We don't want to have that conversation. Most white people in America just view Black people based on television, movies, and music. They don't live in most white people don't live in Black communities. Why we don't have that conversation? Most white people do not live in Black communities. That's intentional. So when you think about how we engage and why we disrespect our community, if we stop spending our money today, just like in Flint, Michigan, we've been pushing for Flint, Michigan to just spending their money for 1 month. Don't spend your money at no liquor stores, no gas station. If we want to have a conversation with one gas station, and that one gas station ownership is going to work on helping us open up our own gas station. So we want to be able to have an ally with someone that owns a gas station, or if it's Marathon or some national product that will be willing to open up a gas station that Black people own. We want to tell all Black people in Flint, Michigan to just get your gas at this one gas station. That's how you empower a community. If we want to have weed, give everybody, one Black person, open up a weed shop, employ Black people, and we tell our community, since you're going to smoke weed, buy it all at this one place. If we're going to play the lottery, which they stole from us, let's have our own lottery terminal, and we can have runners out in the communities like they used to, where we are playing the Michigan lottery or the United States lottery, because this country has always been a lottery or a gamble, and we can make sure that we are spending our own money. If you want to engage in a certain behavior, let's take on that responsibility. A lot of time people complain about why people are not doing anything, or why the biggest business in Flint, Michigan is Mr. Moon or Sheldon Banks. See, you want to say, what's the biggest business in Flint, Michigan? It's the funeral home. Mm-hmm. It's not no educational center. But most of the Chaldeans, Zerkas, and all of these, Daldu and all them people, they understand what their assignment is. Mm-hmm. Their assignment is saying, our women want to get false nails, false eyelashes, false butts, all this false stuff, and we don't own our own hair. If Black people, do you know that the hair care industry is a multi-billion-dollar business, and
Right.
we own less than 1% of it.
Well, you got to understand, as a group, blacks as a group, we spend over $1 trillion, go out, not stay in.
Facts.
We'd be the 9th richest country in the world if we really control. But business is warfare. Until we learn how to do that, you know what I'm saying? You know, but see, we can't get together because we in our community, man, it's just we fighting so many battles, it's downright diabolical, but all of it goes back from slavery, but we could fix it if we get it together. You know what I'm saying? But we got people who don't want to see us united, and some of them majority of them look like me and you, because we fight with them. You know, we got to fight amongst our own people right now. Just think about, if you look at council, ain't no money came to the north of the Flint River
At all.
and you got a majority black council,
Unacceptable.
and you got a black state rep,
Unacceptable.
poison water going through here.
Unacceptable. And in other communities, what they do is, because I have no faith in you, there is where we dislodge ourselves from these people on the council or anybody that's supposed to represent us. Again, we are not to have any conversation with them, or they're not to be able to be comfortably be able to shop at the grocery store. Everyone should turn their backs on them. Even them going to any kind of church or institution like that should not be accepted, because again, how do we hold one another accountable? See, our thing is, we don't hold each other accountable. We go along to get along. We are brainwashed, because if you are a council person, a mayor, or representative, or even like Snyder was allowed to poison a community along with those people that was on that board, the city council, that changed the water intentionally. They knew what the damage would be done. And again, historically, when you think about the history of Flint, Michigan, at one time, Flint was a model city. People came from all over the world because how great Flint was. All over the world to see how their education, housing, fair housing started in Flint, Michigan. We don't want to have that conversation. Even Floyd J. McCree was a mayor in title. He didn't have no real power.
Facts.
People don't want to have that conversation. He was a puppet, but he was a puppet that loves his people. So again, it's okay for us to be in these different foreign communities, but how do you love your people? Loving your people must come first. But first, you got to look in the mirror and love yourself. You can't love nobody else until you love yourself. And that's what we've been afflicted with. We have been trained and conditioned to hate ourselves, to hate black women, black men. Our children have been taught to hate the parents. This is not an accident, but it can be changed with a relationship with God, a pure relationship with God, not no fakeism. God is you. You are a representative of God. That can change by a real commitment to what it means. It means to love one another unconditionally. That's the foundation. You say, and what you do is, in a system, you say, I want to take some things back. You got people, you can't deny it. How do you have all? Why do our women go to somebody else to get their nails done, to get their hair done? Madam C.J. Walker is turning over in her grave. We are disrespecting our ancestors that created a lot of things for us today. It's our fault. And so we can't get tired. We have no response. We cannot get tired about speaking truth to power. A lot of time people say, it's too much for me to engage. I'm tired of, why do y'all keep talking? Well, I don't believe in a lot of talking unless it's going to be impactful. If it's going to make or have an impact, because I do think history is important. The whole reason we are here today is because our community is like a tree without roots. If anybody know what a tree without roots is, if you don't have roots, you dead. Many of our young people in our family don't have no connection to their grandparents, their great-grandparents, or their great-great-grandparents. We don't embrace in the history or the lineage of our community or our families. We are ashamed. We are ashamed to be called black. Oh, I'm an African American. Or I'm Navajo. Or I'm a Somalian. Or I'm a Seminole. all that kind of stuff. When we want to say that one thing about our community, and we must hold each other accountable, is how do you have a few that we emulate, from the entertainers to the sports people, and they are not investing back into the community. That right there has to turn around. There should be a total boycott of all NFL, NBA, college football. How do you play college in Louisiana? This boy hung himself April the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
Hey,
Lacy.
hold on one second, brother
Okay.
Robert. Let me, you know what? Go ahead, because I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna let you finish this out. Then I got a couple questions for people in the chat.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna go through this, but I see where y'all really want my attention, so I'm gonna give it to y'all in a minute right now. But go ahead and finish that. Why we talking about, since everybody want to act like this racism stuff is not serious, all lives matter. We not all lives do matter, but we talking about what Black lives going through right now.
Right.
Because just like
Facts.
that boy that just happened down there that got played by the police, I mean, hit all lives matter.
Come on.
Was his life mattering right there? And then let me say this right here. You might don't agree who I'm bringing on. When I'm bringing on what we talking about, I don't get off in the family business. Let me get that straight right now. Because if it was me and my family into it, I wouldn't want y'all coming on here trying to pick sides and saying stuff. All I'm doing is having a conversation. I'm letting y'all sit up here and put all this stuff up in here, and I haven't done anything. But let us just have a conversation. If you don't like what we saying, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I just brought this brother on to have a conversation. I don't agree with everybody y'all deal with, but I go along with it, and I don't get off in y'all business. Y'all get right up on here. We got enough stuff going on. Y'all don't know what's going on in people's lives. Y'all be sitting up here taking sides. And I'm not in that. Like I say, I'm going to respect both of them. But I didn't bring nobody on here for y'all to come on here, catch these attitudes, to come on here. If you don't like it, don't come back on here no more. I don't give a damn no more. I'm sick of this shit every time somebody come on here and you can do all this disrespectful stuff. Y'all don't even have fucking respect for me to keep this shit quiet. Let me go ahead and let it go. No fucking respect. I'm just sitting up here watching y'all, but we sitting up here, black people are getting killed. All lives matter. No, it don't. All lives don't matter, because y'all don't have to tell y'all kids what to do and what not to do. This is crazy as hell right here. Can't even have a fucking show because y'all got an attitude or something going on. When y'all see the people, talk to them when they out there. You know where he at.
Facts.
Don't be coming up on here with that bullshit this morning.
Facts.
When you see them out there, deal with it. Like I said, I would love to see both of them get this together, but I'm not going to disrespect one. I'm not picking sides in family business. Hell, I got my own beef going on with my own fucking family. And this ain't no right shit to be coming up in here. You want to put that out there. When you see him, say that shit to him then.
Facts.
Don't come up here with this shit this month. I'm sick of this shit. You say what you got to say, Brother Robert, because I'm finna end it. I'm sick of this shit. You can't please nobody in this motherfucker. I see that right now.
Well, again, and Mick, I've just seen how the energy kind of changed. So again, this is what we're dealing with, guys, when we continue to hate one another. And that's what the enemy wants. They are happy that we're engaging in anything to tear each other down. All I can say to our community or anyone that does not like me or care for me, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I've come to terms with a lot of things in my life, and I've made some mistakes. And like I'm saying, I'm an open book. I went to prison for wanting to take somebody else's life for them robbing me. That was wrong. I destroyed my family by me going to prison. And I'm not hiding from that. I use it to empower people. I deal with men and women coming home from prison every day. So I can make an impact by giving back from my experience, because I wouldn't wish prison on anyone. I think it's the most inhumane environment for any of our children to go into. But they built a new $35 million juvenile center on Pasadena Street, right in front of the dog compound. So that shows you what they think about us. Right there at the animal shelter on Pasadena Street, a new juvenile center was built. So that means that we are still classified as animals, because look at the location where they built the juvenile center, because that's how many people view us. But then again, we want to fight one another and we don't own nothing. How is somebody going to dislike me? And all I'm working to do is do my best. But you want to dislike the truth. I'm moving with truth. And a lot of times that's why Jesus was killed. Jesus was lynched and murdered because of what? By his own people. Because they didn't like what Jesus was laying down, and he was laying down the truth. Dr. King and Malcolm then was killed and murdered. And so I understand why what Mickey and his frustration, whatever you guys are engaging or whatever you guys are saying, I'm not, I don't care about that.
What I'm saying, I don't care, because I'm looking at, so it's not like I'm trying to tell, I'm gonna put it up here. Since you want to say this, say so people can have. I never had no saying don't nobody can have no differences, opinions of what they want to do. But all this, am I in the right place? This and that. Listen, I don't get in family business, and I'm gonna say this to y'all again. I got my own family business. It's some people I don't even fuck with because they got in me and my family business. It don't have no problems to do with that. You don't get in family business at the end of the day. I'm not saying how many times we done came over here and it supported what everybody did. I just don't get in family business. And that's just me. If I was nasty, I could have been out here giving y'all 24 seconds, putting that BS up in here. But what I'm saying is, for the respect for me, you wouldn't come in here and do that regardless of what you like or don't like. I wouldn't let this brother come on here and disrespect nobody. Even with my own co-host, man, went this rock together. I wouldn't let him come on because of respect for me. I'm sure he wouldn't get on there and try to come and disrespect her. But see, y'all don't see opinions. Y'all just want to get on here. All I'm saying is we was on here having a conversation about something, and that's where it should have it should have stayed at. It shouldn't have been whatever y'all want to say. Y'all want to say that, y'all will see him go take that down, and y'all know what Black Lives Matter at. That's all I'm saying. I would rather see the brother and his daughter piece that together, not coming on here. You want to put this out here, then other people get in here saying nothing. If it was just a conversation, let them go ahead. But when you got people on the outside coming in, is that really opinions, or is you just you getting in on it? I hurt for both of them. But I'm not going to get up in here and this what this finna be. We done took away from what the show was supposed to be talked about. It was just out of the respect. If you didn't like it, I wouldn't have turned in. It's plenty of people. I watch people run up in Dr. Weaver on face, act like it ain't nothing she did that. But I supposed to take it with a smile. I supposed to sit up here and smile because they cool with them. But see, the respect I have for people, I will put my bullshit to the side. I done seen when we fell out with Tanya and them. I seen how people was running over there. They be doing this and that when we fell out. Taking sides, but you know what I do when I still see them? I don't say nothing. I'm like, it's cool. But people that might then think, okay, they'll get back cool.
Well, let me just say this.
Go ahead, because
this morning, this morning, I was at 7:25. We was at Southwestern greeting the students there. I'm part of Involved Dads Community Impact, along with a partnership. And again, we was at Southwestern this morning greeting our beautiful scholars, and at Eisenhower. And so I'm only bringing that up before I came to the show this morning. This is the work. How do we repair the brokenness in one another, in our communities, and in our families? And again, even though Mick is going on about whatever you guys are expressing online, it shows about where our attention can go. As opposed to dealing in facts, everybody can have an opinion. And it's not always designed that we are going to like one another, but we can respect each other. Even if we disagree, what is the big picture? The big picture is for us to have ownership, ownership, ownership. Ownership is ownership of one another. Ownership is being kind, having a smile for somebody else. Ownership is me and other people making sure that before we die, like I'm dealing with prostate cancer. And what I'm prayerful is, and I've experienced this before, you can imagine, I've been in the school system since I got out of prison. I've been blessed to be in the school system. And to this day, I meet children that I've worked with years ago that call me and say, Mr. Roberts, we glad this happened or that happened. I mean, it's amazing how these young people, when at one time we didn't think they heard anything that we said. We got a young man that lives in Florida come back every year for our fishing program. He designed his work to be off work, to come back and to celebrate and work with the other younger children dealing with our Day at the Lake program. So again, Tupac said, they asked Tupac, what do you think when he was in Rikers Island? They said, Tupac, what do you think your life means? Tupac said, I believe my life was created to spark the mind of others. And it's the same attribute all of us have. We are going to die. We don't have to live in misery and jealousy. I don't have to be mad at you because you or Neely or all these other people that have disrespected our community. I am very perturbed about the behavior of our leadership. But a mad thing is a dog or a rabies or someone that is dealing in some kind of sickness. I don't believe in getting mad. I do believe that we have to be strategic this way. We have to analyze, strategize, and attack a situation. So if I'm analyzing a situation, then I'm engaging just like this morning. These children engage, and I say, good morning, doctor. Good morning, surgical anesthesiologist. Good morning, governor. Man, you should have made the smile on these young people's faces, and we giving them hugs. You know, the young ladies come over, and many of our children have not been told, I love you, that you matter, or even been greeted. You'd be surprised, even the little kids over at Eisenhower, little bitty people. I say, good morning, doctor. Good morning, governor. I mean, and they just like, what's going on? And it's those kind of things where if you want to do anything in life, guys, negativity sells. Many of us are in pain. But why do we continue to be in pain and not work to get healed? See, Mickey, one thing about 810 is, yes, there's time for play and banter, but there's time for us to do work. And I'm coming on, and I'm thankful that he allows me to come on and share some information, because what we try to do is give you historical foundational facts or how we can engage in solutions. It's not about us hyping each other about, I don't like this, I don't like that. How can we change our condition? That's what we're supposed to all be about. How can we re-envision ourselves and love one another? How can I love you more? If I've done something to you, please accept my forgiveness. That's all I can work on. But if you don't want to forgive me for something I may have done, that's your right. But I know that I'm moving in a way to making sure that I want to, even when we're dealing with enemies or dealing with people that hate us, for some reason, you have other groups of people in our community that has a sexual arousal by killing us. They really enjoy killing us. It's a sport to kill Black and brown people because they get off killing us. They enjoy it. They get promoted killing us. They get paid to kill us. George Zimmerman is still alive. Carl Rittenhour is still alive. That boy that shot them people down at Emmanuel Church in South Carolina, those people were praying. How do you be in a church and praying and don't have your eyes open? See, that goes back to that blind faith. See, that goes back to us blindly saying that I'm engaged in a relationship with some kind of religion, and I'm so into it that I got my eyes closed, and your enemy is amongst you. That's our fault. But before we close out, I want to make sure that, and thank you for allowing me this little time. I wanted to get to David Adjaye, Adiaje. He's a world famous architect. Beautiful young man. He's got several museums being opened around the world, and he was charged. He was not charged. He was not charged, nor a lawsuit brought against him in 2023 for an alleged some kind of sexual relationship with one of his co-workers. I'm only bringing that up because he's from Guyana, British Guyana, born in 1966. But I'm bringing that up because he's a renowned world architect, a black brother.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to show in line with R. Kelly, Jim Jones,
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Garvey,
Mm-hmm.
and the list go on and on and on about our black men and women are always got a bullseye on their back. And at any time, their livelihood can be snatched away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the biggest fear that black and brown people have in this country. There's something that the fake out is DEI and affirmative action. There's no policy, program, or anything that has ever been created in this country that helped black and brown people. We have had to get it from the gutter, from the ground. And even in that, we assimilate because we want to be accepted by the power structure.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't dance to their tune, they take it from us. Just like the brother Lacey that was killed. And I mean, that he hung himself.
Yeah.
This brother hung himself because he was falsely accused.
Mm-hmm.
We are falsely accused every day. Even today, this morning, I was talking to the principal at Southwestern. He said, I wish I didn't have to allow these kids to go through these metal detectors because he can see what it does to them. We criminalize our children from birth. All the things that we do to our children is intentional. And so this brother, Kyren, Kyren, again, 24 years old, killed himself April the 12th, 2025, for a police community lied on this young man that he was in a car crash, that he killed someone, and he didn't. And what's going to happen to that police department?
Look how the NFL wouldn't even let him come to the combine. Look how everybody shunned him. He didn't see no future. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why we need, and see,
Right.
that's why we need to shut college down.
Yeah.
Why would these Negroes be playing in Louisiana where this boy was playing, in Mississippi, in Tennessee, in Alabama, in Georgia? How dare you play for any of those schools?
And that's the point. But see, this is what we get caught up in. We're not saying all white people are bad, but when you saying all lives matter, did that boy life matter right there? Because I don't see them police coercing when they put something on them. See, we not having that problem with that right there. So when you come with that all lives matter, going on with that. If y'all want to live in that lie, and to the white people that do watch this, we're not. If you mad at me telling the truth and y'all getting mad at this is history. This is American history.
Right. That you didn't get, that they didn't get.
Now, if you
Let's be clear.
Right. And if you mad about that, that really shows us how you really feel about us. It's only that long as we go along with y'all go along. No, see, it makes me think y'all with them other ones who want to erase history.
Yes.
That show me y'all want that. You don't want slavery talked about. Shit, we got sundown towns.
Thank you.
When you sitting up here, you can't even trust the court system. But see what it is though. Now what the problem is though, it's all kumbaya. But let's be honest. Why is in the black poor community everything is so messed up here?
Thank you. Facts.
The school system.
Purpose.
You got right now. Let me show you what's else diabolical. You got one of the, and I don't want, but because it's the blacks too. But you got one of the on the school board. What school do her kids go to?
Suburbs.
Okay, but but y'all want to play this game like no. It's only cool. That's even with the Republicans coming down here.
Thank you.
Y'all helping, and I do. But is y'all really helping us for us, or is it because y'all agenda? Now we got to look at that.
Well, again, when you just mentioned whoever is saying this country has never, all lives have never mattered in this country, so that's some BS. And again, anytime you articulate that, and again, because of white fragility, and again, white fragility is at the core of all this. And so, again, our focus must be on how do we heal one another?
Fact.
Because white agility has an agenda. Donald Trump and them has an agenda.
Right.
And it's being proven out. And these people that voted for this insanity are getting what they voted for.
Right.
When you think about what the farmers and everybody is experiencing around the world.
And who voted for it?
Again,
they were so mad. Like, let's be honest, y'all. Everybody want to say, "Oh, Kamala Harris." Who didn't want to vote for Kamala?
Thank you.
Because the blacks went and voted for her. Who went and voted? The same ones to say Trump was so deplorable. What was the female vote?
Oh man, it was atrocious
for Trump.
Oh,
So don't come over here saying what we won't do. Y'all just want us to keep going along, but if we bring it's a problem. We can't bring this up. We can't talk about this, and that. And only reason, you know what, I'm gonna say that for another show,
Yeah,
man.
well,
I'm
the
up
truth-
out of here.
well, the truth. Well, before we close out, the truth again, we can't deny the truth, and that's the job of the enemy. The enemy has always been designed to miscue the truth, because if you look at, like I said earlier, about the museums
Yeah.
and all the defacement over in Egypt,
Yeah.
all of those monuments have been defaced
and
intentionally.
And I bet you it wasn't by people who shot the Sphinx nose off to look like me and you. So if you want to go get, and I know people don't look like me and you that took all the artifacts and put them over there when you got the Queen of England. Them not even they crowns, but I got to read this because Cuz dropped this $20. I will agree with you, Mickey. We love the show. Keep moving forward and don't hold on the negative aspects of jobs. Love you back, Cuz. But I'm just saying, y'all cannot be like, listen, it's not, and I truly believe this. Things like that should be handled. Let that go on. We get enough playing all this stuff out in public like this. We the only ones to keep playing this game like this in public. Only ones. We fighting against each other and wondering why. Because you notice what? Did you hear with the mayor when it said all he need is 20% vote?
20%.
Why he only needed 20% of the black
white
vote? Okay, but y'all sitting up here arguing with me y'all want to argue with me about stuff. They not arguing. They getting their stuff together because they know how to deal with their stuff outside of Facebook.
And when you mention sundown towns, you know, Davidson, Otisville, Grand Blanc, Flushing, Fenton, all them are sundown towns right now that we live around. And again, let's be clear. Again, I'm brother Hubert Naeem Roberts again, and I'm boldly committed to honoring our ancestors, my mother, Donna Roberts, along with my dad and my family, you know, engaging in doing the work that is right and righteous. Again, I come from a lineage of family members that was in the struggle and that believe in the liberation of our people. I don't compromise on that. And again, I'm not hiding. My address, again, at the location is 2112 North Saginaw Street. That's where Black Lives Matter grassroots office is. My phone number is 810-394-4105 if you want to get at me. My email is mentorroberts@gmail.com. And again, later on today, I will be engaging with some young people, Urban Boy Scout, over at Mr. Moore's barbershop on across from Regency Apartment Complex. We have a mentoring program over there after school. So again, I'm not hiding.
Now
you can get back at me.
Go boycott him. That group, y'all go over there and boycott him because you might have a real conversation. You might be able to sit down and have a conversation. That's what I'm just saying. Just go boycott him. You know, go do that. Go boycott him because I don't need y'all boycotting me. Y'all done already boycotted me enough.
But again, the facts is what we just said about ownership in our community. We don't own anything in the Black community. So if we want to talk about how we dislike one another or can't stand each other or got a problem with one another, we can agree about ownership. Can we agree to that, y'all? Can we agree about before we close out? Can we just think about owning everything in our community? How about that? Wakanda out.
Peace.